Eagles and news around the NFL. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's, tonight's show is brought to you by Rob's Automotive and Collision, BCWSA, Chickies and Pete's, Allstate Fairless Hills Tom LaCroix, Penworth Financial Services, Penn Community Bank, Capital Grill, Ventresca's LTD, Independence Blue Cross, and SEPTA. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
Welcome to the Pro Football Report, live from Chickie and Pete's in Malvern, Pennsylvania. You're listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA, right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and seen live at WBCBsports.com. I'm Bill Werndl, substituting, pinch hitting for the great Merrill Reese. He's on the disabled list right now, but he'll be back next week. We have the esteemed writer, football writer extraordinaire. Of course, it's Bob Grotz, and Mr. Football in Philadelphia. Nobody knows football better than this guy. He should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. An outstanding career with the Eagles and the Cardinals and the Packers, a Super Bowl ring. I'm talking about the great Seth Joyner. Seth, welcome to the show, my friend.
What's going on, gents? Hey, Howard Eskin says he knows more about football than I do.
Really? Really? You know more about football in your finger than he knows in his whole body. Simple as that.
Lord. Yeah, hey, Seth, you took a few lumps for just saying the obvious, you know? All the stuff that they got to clean up, you know? I was in that locker room. Every single player that I talked to talked about how they had multiple things to clean up. A couple of them were kind of surprised that they won that game with the mistakes that they made. Now, they did make the plays when they had to, the Eagles. They beat the Cowboys. Awesome win, big rivalry. But, I'm talking to Jason Kelsey. He's talking to all of us after. He almost couldn't believe that they won. I mean, with all the mistakes they made.
Well, I don't make a whole lot out of taking lumps. You know, I got thick skin. I believe that one of the reasons why, I do what I do is because I just shoot straight from the hip. And people who like it, they like it. The people who don't, they don't. I can't do anything about that. But, I kind of say the same thing because, I get the trolls on social media sometimes, and they're like, well, here he goes, Mr. Sourpuss. He's always got something negative to say. And my response to them is, listen to the commentary of the players and the coaches, and then tell me something that I said that was inaccurate, because those players know full well that they haven't played their best football, and they know what kind of football they're going to have to play down the stretch in order for them to get back to where they want to get to.
Actually, coming right up, Seth.
Yeah.
Kansas City, Buffalo.
San Francisco, Dallas.
Yeah, you're right.
Nick Sirianni knows that. The players know that. They know that, they're 8-1, but they could easily, have 2 or 3 more losses on their schedule. And I give them credit for being able to win when they're not at their best, when they're not playing their best, when they're not hitting on, optimal levels. But the truth of the matter is the finality of the playoffs, one and done, is so much different than the regular season where you got another week to come back and try to get it right. So I'm not critical. I'm analytical. And what I also do is, I give the team props when they do things correctly and when they play well. But when they don't, it's my job as a journalist, to unequivocally and balancedly, give an assessment of what I see based upon what I know about the game, my experience in the game, and what I'm watching on a weekly basis, the product that they're putting on the field.
We're basically, excuse me, Billy, we're basically at the halfway point. 18 weeks in the season. I was talking to Billy about this before, and this just, I don't remember an Eagles defense ever being like this, ever. First against the rush, I do remember that. last against the pass at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't get that. I mean, I understand. Is it more personnel, do you think? Billy was talking about they need to do more press coverage. Do they have the personnel to do that? Is it personnel? Is it scheme? Or what is that? What do you think that is?
I think it's a combination of things. Yeah. I think, first of all, you've got, I give Sean Desai a lot of credit, and I give him a little bit of break, because when you think about what that secondary was supposed to look like and what it's looked like on a week-to-week basis, you got young guys that are out there playing. You got guys that are coming straight off of injury reserve. You throw them in the mix. There's so much. There's not a whole lot of continuity when you look at the secondary.
Kevin Byard, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even James Bradbury has been injured, early in the year and missed the game. Darius Slay got injured and had to leave the game, last week. So when you got all of these moving parts, and then you go and you trade for Kevin Byard and you bring him in and he's trying to get familiar, and Reed Blankenship missed some games,
Right.
It's really difficult to have some continuity. And then you throw into the mix, there is some scheme things, from the standpoint of, I honestly believe that Nick Sirianni truly believes that we want to create explosive plays on the offensive side of the ball, and we want to minimize explosive plays on the defensive side of the ball. So you don't see this coordinator as aggressive as he wants to be. And I give you a classic case in point. We rode Jonathan Gannon. I personally rode him like a rented mule all of last year because he wasn't aggressive enough. He leaves and becomes the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, and they're blitzing like they're losing their darn minds down in Arizona. So that tells me that the mandate was made to him, no pressure. We want to bend but don't break. That's the way we're going to play. And if that's your mentality and that's the posture that you put your players in, that passive posture, then you're going to have games like that. You're going to have games where, they're going to give up 379 yards or 397 yards, to a Sam Howell, 333 yards, to Dak Prescott. Because when you play off coverage and you're relying on your defensive line to create pressure, even the most mundane of quarterbacks can look at a situation and say, oh, they're coming, and they're 7 yards to 8 yards off the ball. I'm just going to take the speed out. I'm going to take the slant. I'm going to take the stop route. That's easy pickings for them.
Seth, but there's been a lot of blown coverages. I know you mentioned about guys being out of the lineup, but a lot of guys are wide open. I don't understand that, because you work in practice, you know your assignments. Even if you're a second teamer, the blown coverages have to be eliminated to a certain extent. Don't you agree?
Well, I mean, first of all, we got to know what the coverages are, because some coverages that look like they're blown, they're not necessarily blown by the guys chasing. They're blown by somebody else who's supposed to be help over the top. Man-to-man coverage, while I contend it should be the easiest coverage, for a professional player to play, because it's the first coverage you learn how to play your entire life. And you probably played more man coverage in your entire life than you played any other coverage. But you got to also give the opponent credit. CeeDee Lamb was just running he's a great route runner, Terry McLaurin, he's a great route runner. So if you're not able to get to the quarterback right away, and you've got your cornerbacks and your slot guys and they're playing passively, double moves, fakes, stemming at the top of the routes, all of those types of things help to get guys not only open, but to create space. So if you don't get up and challenge people at the line of scrimmage, if you don't get up and be physical, and I'm not talking about just get up and press and then open the gate and let the guy go by. I'm talking about getting up and press and forcing the release inside or outside where you want him to go, not only by body position, but by taking your one jam in the 5 yard area.
And also that gives the defensive line a split second more to get to the quarterback.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. It's the coverage and the pass rush is synergistic. Okay? If the pass rush isn't working, the coverage won't work. If the coverage isn't tight enough, you don't buy yourself enough time for the pass rush to get there. That's just a fact.
Seth, what do you think the Eagles are going to be? They self-scout during the bye week. What are they going to find? when they look at that defense, particularly? Obviously, we talked about some of it, but are they going to be able to come up with a solution, or is this the way it's going to be?
He's
rely on Jalen Hurts to put up a lot of points. And
hey, well, listen, the defense hasn't been bad all season now. I'm not going to say that. I think, to use a golfing term, I think that the offense and defense have hammed and egged it pretty darn good, for most of the season. You have weeks where the defense has been dominant and really carried the team, like that Jets game. The defense was phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. Against Miami, the defense was phenomenal. The defense only gave up 7 points. It was the turnovers that gave Miami the other 10 points, So the reason why you have 3 phases in the game is when one phase isn't clicking, the other 2 have to pick the other one up, But I just get the sense sometimes that this team is relied upon to be offense-centric, and they're always going to look for the offense to be, the reason why the team, gets itself out of trouble and why the team has success. And they kind of lose sight of the fact that in the Jets game, on 3rd and 9, instead of Jalen Hurts throwing that ball and throwing an interception, you run that ball and then you punt, and then you force Zach Wilson, who hadn't done anything all day long, to drive 50 to 60 yards for the field goal in order to win the game. You don't put Jalen Hurts in that situation where he throws the interception, they run it back, then you let the guy score, and now the pressure's
I didn't like
greater.
that either. I didn't even like them letting the guy score.
Well, yeah, they had to. They had to for time purposes. Yeah.
Late in the game, you got to milk that clock like a cow at a 4-H convention. And many times the Eagles, the last couple of weeks, haven't been able to do that. You got to put that game away. You got to put it in your offense's hands, not rely on your defense to stop people. Especially your legs are heavy late in the game. You agree?
Well, listen, you got to set the stage, and I always say that, the run game isn't a facet of your offense that you can just turn on and turn off when you want to. If you're not consistently working on it, if it's not a part of if it's not a part of your DNA, it's not a part of who you are, throughout the entire game, then it's going to be problematic at some point or another. I talked about it in my show today. I really highlighted the fact the Eagles went 3 and out their last 3 possessions against Dallas last week. After coming out and going 6 plays, 60 yards, 29 yards to Devontae, 11 plays, 80-something yards, 4 yards to A.J. Brown, and then your last 3 possessions, you go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, and punt each time. Come on, man. There's something wrong, with that picture. So if you implement your running game and it's a part of what you do and it's a part of how you coordinate your offense, then you get started early, you establish it early, you set your play action pass and everything else up off of it, and now you got the defense on his heels. And now you can always go back to it because you've established it. But if you don't establish it early enough in the game, you're not going to just all of a sudden just start blowing people off the ball in a close game. In an 11-point game, you're just not going to blow the Dallas Cowboys off the ball, because especially if they know that you're in run mode. They're going to load the box. They got all these guys down close to the line of scrimmage, and you got DBs shooting gaps from everywhere, even though you have everybody else blocked up. It's just a bad remedy, in my opinion, for the running game. And people can talk about how they've tried to run the ball rather. I think, I heard someone on radio today talk about, they ran the ball 33 times. No, they didn't. Jalen Hurts had 10 carries. They were not called running plays, but the NFL deems that when a quarterback drops back to throw the ball and he has to take off and run, it is no longer a pass play. It is converted to a run play. So those 10 carries by Jalen Hurts, with the exception of the tush pushes, those were pass plays. Those were design-called pass plays. They weren't run plays. The Eagles, realistically, they ran the ball 12 times in the first half, for 43 yards and a touchdown. And then he came back and they ran it 11 times in the second half for 30 yards. 2-point-something yards a carry. So when you look at it in its full context, they're not running the football enough. They're not committed enough to the run game to make it effective.
I think it has something to do with Hurts, too, that the knee is a little sore. When Hurts isn't a threat to run, they don't have to spy him.
No, listen, the RPO piece of it and the read option has been removed most of the year. And I like it because I want to see him operate from the pocket and then use his athleticism when everything else breaks down.
He's done really well in the pocket.
You got 4 running backs on your roster, and there's no reason in the world with the best offensive line in pro football, one of the best blocking tight ends, if not the best blocking tight end in all of pro football, that you can't line up man on man and run the football. Makes no sense to me.
And we saw it last year when they ran the ball 40, 45 times a game, that they won the majority of the game because they also keep the defense fresh, right?
They don't want to play that way. They want to be a passing team. It's all about the quarterback in today's game. And in a lot of ways, to me, I get a sense, and I may take some heat for this, I believe that the uptick of passing that you see in the National Football League is an attempt to validate quarterbacks for the type of salaries that you pay them.
You could argue that. I could see that. Yeah.
No question
they get
about
the most.
We got to take a quick break.
Yeah,
Mr.
Billy's
Bob.
got to get some more food, Merrill.
Absolutely. Always busting on me. We'll be back at Chicky and Pete's in Malvern with our special guest, Seth Joyner, of course, Bob Grotz, the esteemed writer from the Daily Local Daily Time. We'll be right back after these messages.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Come taste our unique flavors for fall with some delicious additions to our cocktail menu. Try a pumpkin white Russian with Stoli vanilla or a tasty tequila apple pie with butterscotch schnapps. Or how about a fireball apple cider sangria topped with ginger beer for game day or any day? Come see us all fall long at the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. And here's the pitch. BCWSA water and sewer customers, you have a new and improved option to pay your bill that's convenient, reliable, and secure. Powered by Invoice Cloud, you can pay your bill 24/7 online, pay by text or phone, or sign up for AutoPay to avoid fees for late or missed payments. Visit bcwsa.net to sign up or for more info. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA. Prove it.
At Penn Community Bank, we're not just your bankers, we're your neighbors. That comes in handy when you're purchasing first place, refinancing an existing mortgage, buying a second home or investment property, or looking to tap into your home's equity. Whatever your situation, we pair the latest products, services, and technology that you need with the experienced banking professionals you want. Visit penncommunitybank.com or stop by your local branch to find out how we can make your family's growth personal. Penn Community Bank. Here we are and here we grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Hi, it's Merrill. Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa is here to help you distress after the game. Visit them to restore, relax, or refresh with a much-needed massage or facial for an introductory price starting at just $79.95. They offer an abundance of facial and massage services. Visit any one of their 60 spas in Delaware, South Jersey, and Philadelphia, including the Lehigh Valley, or go to handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
Planning to go to the game? Give LimoToday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here's your host, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
We are back here at Chickie and Pete's in Malvern, Pennsylvania. I'm Bill Werndl, pinch hitting for Merrill Reese. We have the great football writer extraordinaire, Bob Grotz.
Extraordinaire.
And our special guest, Mr. Football, Seth Joyner. Seth, Werndl and Jalen Hurts. If Werndl played today, would he put up numbers that would be never matched in the game?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the way that they protect quarterbacks, for one, and, Jalen's just a modern version, of what Werndl has been his entire career. And if people really want to know how great Werndl could have been, go back to 1997, 1998, and pull up his statistics when he was with
the Vikings,
with the
right.
Minnesota Vikings.
Right.
And they lost the NFC Championship to Atlanta. That's the year that I won the Super Bowl with Denver. We played against Atlanta in the Super Bowl. Minnesota was clearly the better team. Like when we found out that Atlanta won, I knew that I had my championship.
But when you look at Werndl, he never had, with the exception of Doug Scoville, a great offensive line. Is that correct?
Well, absolutely. One of the things that Buddy was doing, in the process of him being fired, was evaluating offensive linemen. I can remember talking with him 2 days before he got fired. He says, I got to build an offensive line for Werndl so, we can get a running game, I can get him protected, so on and so forth. So, that's what the problem was. We couldn't run the football, and he was always running for his life.
And you brought up a very good point. Buddy Ryan wanted to draft a guy named Eric Williams out of Central State of Oklahoma, who the Ohio, who the Cowboys drafted, later became a Pro Bowler. We drafted Antoine Davis, right?
What a joke. That's all I can say. What a joke.
He had two good games every year against Charles Mann and Washington Redskins back then.
Wow.
There was something going on with him and Mann, but that was it. I mean, he got real physical with him, but a lot of potential. Big guy.
There was no potential.
No?
No. He was a good college player, big player on a good team with a good offensive line at Tennessee. Both of those guys, I can remember Buddy saying, everybody's high on these two guys. He said neither one of them was worth a wooden nickel.
Charlie McRae was the other guy.
Yeah. And, neither one of them really panned out to be much. But, Eric Williams turned into a perennial Pro Bowler. And, if he doesn't get in that accident, and that ends his career, he's probably a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Seth, when you look at the landscape of football today, and you see the way the quarterback's being protected, it's difficult for a guy like you who played the metal to the pedal. I mean, when you watch the game today, is it difficult to watch the way the guys have to hold up when they're going to nail a quarterback?
No, it is, because the game is physical. The players know what they sign up for. The protocols are so much better to protect players when they do get injured in the game. Rather than putting 2-3 fingers up and asking a guy, hey, are you all right? They have a protocol. Take him into the tent. You ask him some questions. Look at his pupils if they're dilated. Ask him what day it is. Ask him where he's at. There's certain things that go on in that protocol that allows the players to be protected. But a lot of times, listen, when you have a class action lawsuit against a multi-billion-dollar, company like the NFL, you're going to have some changes. When they admittedly lose that lawsuit, without having to admit culpability and have to pay over $760 million in that lawsuit, you're going to have reverberations all the way from the pro level all the way down to the youth level. And I saw it even, when I was coaching my son and he was playing. But it's tough to watch sometimes because it is a gladiator sport. The intimidation factor has been ripped out of the game. Receivers are not afraid to go across the middle without looking, defenseless receiver that you hit. If you hit a guy too hard and he just, lays on the ground and writhes like he's in pain, he's going to get the 15-yarder. And some of the fines are just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if you guys saw the fine that DeAndre Swift got last week for lowering the boom on a potential tackler.
Yeah,
it makes no sense.
Yeah, that was different. And let's face it, every time the quarterback gets sacked, we're looking to see if there's going to be a flag too.
It's ridiculous.
Every time. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
It's tough.
How many concussions did you sustain in your career, do you think?
They're uncountable because, they really weren't deemed or talked about as concussions unless you were like severely, jacked up. Like if you were sensitive to light, sensitive to sound, or, you had, permanent headaches, for days at a time, that was the only time they kind of took you and put you on the shelf. But there are extremes and levels to concussions that they figured out that's a real deal. So it's really impossible for me, Billy, to say, how many I had, because I can't tell you how many times I hit my head on the ground and stood up and, heard birds chirping and bees buzzing and, the whole deal. But that was a part of it. You just shook it off and you played.
You played until you were what, 34, 35?
33.
33, okay. With today's rules, you probably could have played till you were 40.
Well, especially with the rules of how they practice. They don't do anything in practice. I can't tell you how many.
Kelsey loves that, Jason Kelsey.
I can't tell you how many, there was probably 2 or 3 years that I left on the field in Westchester, Pennsylvania in training camp, where if we practiced the way that they practice now,
wow,
I probably could have played 2 or 3 more years than I played.
Yeah. Okay.
A guy who played for the Eagles a couple of years ago just signed a contract with the Rams, Carson Wentz. Mm-hmm. Do you think he has anything left in the tank?
No, because it's not a physical thing with Carson. Carson's problem is he's, psychologically broke. And he has spent, the entirety of his career after the Eagles won the Super Bowl trying to exorcise the demon or the ghost of Nick Foles. That's just the truth. He came back early after the surgery, broke his back, hurt his back, all because he wanted to get back in the saddle. He wanted to try to win a Super Bowl for the city of Philadelphia so that he would be beloved the way that Nick Foles was beloved. And because he was fighting that situation his entire career, I think it has consumed him and has taken away from his ability to move on and just be the best quarterback that he can be, rather than trying to prove everybody wrong that he could be what he was once, thought that he could be.
He never did move on from that.
No, couldn't.
And I think, too, Merrill's made this point several times, that knee injury, he had to change his game a little bit because he couldn't run like he could when he was a rookie.
Well, listen, if he would have just...
And he didn't do it.
If he would have just taken his time in coming back and letting the knee heal the way that it should have, he was really pushing. The Eagles got off to a bad start, that year. And, Nick was struggling, and he wanted to get out and show everybody that he could be the savior. But he wasn't ready, because there's a difference between healing physical injuries and healing psychological injuries. And psychologically, he really wasn't ready to play, but he pushed himself and he pushed the organization to put him back out there just to get injured again.
Well, and I think this thing, this has been beaten to death, but when the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts, I think that we kind of saw who he was, who Carson Wentz was.
Well, he didn't want the
Seth, I watched training camp. He didn't even talk to him during training camp.
Oh, hey, listen,
it was the weirdest thing.
I got a picture that I just showed Mike Quick just last night. We were talking about it. And that picture says it all. I mean, the look on his face as he's looking at Jalen Hurts like, I can't believe that they drafted this guy and they brought him here. But if you're going to be a true, if you believe in the meritocracy of the National Football League, especially at the quarterback position, because they turned around and gave him a $128 million contract. Okay, they wanted him to be the guy. All he had to do was come in and prove that he could be the guy against a quarterback who was a rookie and a quarterback who was deemed to not have the skill set to be a great passer of the football. So everything was in his favor, but he didn't want the competition because he knew the one area that he lacked severely in that Jalen Hurts was masterful in, and that was being a leader.
Yeah. We got to take a break. Yeah. Billy needs some more food.
Absolutely.
And we're going to take a breather.
You're listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM and seen live at WBCBSports.com. We'll be back.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Come enjoy some delicious additions to our fall menu. Feast on our sweet fire barbecue wings, served with our tasty chive ranch dressing. Our Thai chicken sandwich with pickled red onions and sweet lime dressing, served with a minced slaw. Or Chickies and Pete's hot honey pepperoni pizza with extra pepperoni and delicious hot honey. For game day or any day, come see us all fall at the official sports bar of the Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side.
At Penn Community Bank, we're not just your bankers, we're your neighbors. That comes in handy when you're purchasing your first place, refinancing an existing mortgage, buying a second home or investment property, or looking to tap into your home's equity. Whatever your situation, we pair the latest products, services, and technology that you need with the experienced banking professionals you want. Visit PennCommunityBank.com or stop by your local branch to find out how we can make your family's growth personal. Penn Community Bank. Here we are and here we grow. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, proven.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Hi, it's Merrill. Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa is here to help you distress after the game. Visit them to restore, relax, or refresh with a much-needed massage or facial for an introductory price starting at just $79.95. They offer an abundance of facial and massage services. Visit any one of their 60 spas in Delaware, South Jersey, and Philadelphia, including the Lehigh Valley, or go to handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
Planning to go to the game? Give limotoday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let limotoday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with limotoday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let limotoday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here's your host, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
We are back here at Chickie and Pete's in Malvern, Pennsylvania. I'm Bill Werndl, pinch hitting for Merrill Reese. We have the great football writer extraordinaire, Bob Grotz, and of course, Mr. Football, Mr. Seth Joyner, joining us today on our great broadcast. Bobby, you have something to update right now.
Oh, it's that time of the week. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I hope Merrill is listening too. He can't be here tonight. It's time now for this week's injury review, brought to you by the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio. Contact them today for a free consultation at 215-806-3689. That's 215-806-3689. And obviously the big one is Dallas Goedert. He's had surgery on his forearm, fractured his forearm. I don't think he did it on the stiff arm. I think he did it when he got tackled to the ground. And Nick Sirianni is hopeful that it's not going to be a long-term thing, but that doesn't mean he won't go on injured reserve 4 weeks. But can you play with a forearm fracture? Seth, have you've never done that, right?
It's not ideal because you can put a cast on it, but you still got to use the hand, and it in order for it to heal properly, it needs to be immobilized. So it's going to take 4 to 5, maybe 6 weeks, for it to heal properly in order for him to get out there and play. The worst thing you want to do is put him out there and make the situation worse than what it is. It's sad. It's sad because, he's such an integral part of what they do, and I didn't like the way the guy tackled him. He tried to stiff arm him, and Dallas actually missed, and he went across the guy's body, and the way the guy grabbed his arm and just tried to put his full weight on.
Was that a hip drop tackle?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I told
think
somebody that. Yeah.
That should be a situation where the NFL wants to protect players. They need to review that and find the heck out of him for that tackle, because it was clear he wasn't trying to get him down. He could have just pushed him out of bounds at that point in time. They were right on the sideline. That was intent to hurt and break his arm.
I'll check that out.
Look at it.
I'll check that fine out. That's an excellent point.
I seen it right away.
Yeah. Away. And then we got Nakobe Dean.
Foot injury.
Might have re-aggravated that foot injury. How was he playing, Seth? Nakobe?
I'm not sold.
Okay.
I believe that the two guys that were playing in his stead the first time he was injured were playing really solid football. They were playing really good. They weren't having as many issues in the middle of the field in the passing game. And then because, he's the golden child, so to speak, he's the guy that they want to be the backer. As soon as he came back off of injury, they put him right back in. And I posed it in my show and in my podcast, hey, what do you guys think? When Nakobe Dean comes back, do you put him right back in there? Or is it one of those situations where you rotate him and you don't mess with what's already working and what's not already broken? But they made the decision to put him back in there, and I think the defense has been worse for it.
They miss T.J. Edwards. I mean,
no, they don't.
I think they do.
T.J. Edwards.
He tackled. He cleaned up everything.
Yeah, but he was a tackling machine. He didn't affect the game in any other way.
Well, none of those other linebackers are getting any turnovers.
They caused some fumbles. Zach Morrows had 3 sacks in the game.
He did. He had a big game.
Tell me how many interceptions and how many caused fumbles and how many sacks T.J. Edwards had last year. Had a great year. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think he had an interception, yeah.
He would be, a great complementary piece. Yeah, you want him here. But he doesn't bring anything other to the table than he's a good tackler. He's going to get you 130, 140 tackles.
TJ, I'm still in your corner here. Okay, and then the other injury, He's not on the injury report, and he's getting Jalen Hurts, the knee. He's getting irritated being asked about it. Is that legit to be irritated? You're the guy, and people ask you about your knee. You look like you're limping a little bit. Is he being too sensitive?
Listen, I think people should know long enough. They should know already that he's not going to address it. So don't keep asking him about it. You know, I have a theory. You know, the way that my mind works, the thing that you think about is the thing that you become. The thing that you consistently put your mind on and the thing that you consistently talk about is the thing that you bring about, you know. And I think that Jalen Hurts lives in that world. You know, let's not talk about it because it's not going to be an issue. I'm going to play no matter what the circumstances are. It's not going to inhibit me from doing what I got to do. So it's a moot point. Don't bring it up.
That's an excellent point, too, because I was talking to Bill. When Malik Hooker picked up that fumble, did you see Jalen Hurts take off after him and shove him out of bounds?
Yeah.
I mean, he just ran him down. Malik Hooker is fast.
Listen.
So he looked healthy there. And that's your injury review, by the way. And that's the wrap-up, brought to you by the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio. Contact them today for a free consultation at 215-806-3689. Take it away, Billy.
All right. Seth, I talked to a very notable football person. I don't want to reveal his name. I don't want to throw him under the bus. But I asked him after the game on Sunday. I said, do they need more help in the secondary? And he turned to me and said, technique. Is that a point that they should look at as far as the Eagles are concerned? Their technique on defense?
Well, technique for me is like, you know, 1B. 1A is understanding clearly what it is that you're supposed to do in every defense and every play. 1B is the how-to, is the execution piece. So if your technique is flawed, then you get beat. And when you get beat, that's when you get the holding penalties, the illegal contacts, the PIs, the holding, you know. So it's a technique thing. If you're technically sound, especially when you're talking about coverage for a defensive back, I always talk about it. I never understood why defensive backs in man-to-man coverage, and they're running with the guy, and they're in phase with him, they're in stride with him. And instead of getting in position where, you know, you get your back against him, you got the sideline, you know, as the 12th man, your arms across his body where you can feel him, and now you can turn back and see where the ball is. Okay, if it's a back shoulder, you open all the way up and knock it down. If it's a ball that's coming, you know, from the inside out, now all you got to do is intercept the ball and knock it down. But these guys are afraid to turn and play the football because they're afraid that in the moment that they turn, the ball's going to go right by them. Well, if you're technically sound and you're in phase and you're doing everything that you need to do, you don't have to worry about that.
You know who does that? Reed Blankenship does that fairly well. You know, with that you use the sideline, you reach out. I mean, he's pretty good at that.
Let me tell you something.
That's
Reed,
sound.
I like Reed, but Reed is not the fastest guy in the world either. So you better have perfect technique if you're going to play in this league if you don't have great speed, you know. But even for the cornerbacks, Bradbury's got terrible technique. Slay, if he's not up in jam, he has terrible technique. A lot of these guys have bad technique because it's something that they don't necessarily work on. The technique, and I talked about it as an integral part of the bye, you know, in the taping on my show today. I said the OTAs and training camp is where you work on technique and fundamentals. Once the season starts, those things become a byproduct just because you're game planning and you're getting ready from week to week for a different opponent every single week. So what's the thing that begins to slide as the season begins to wear on? Your technique and your fundamentals. You don't even have time enough in practice to go over and work on those things in practice. But now you got the bye week, and you've got some extra days to focus on that and go back and reiterate some of those things that may have fallen through the crack for your players to help them execute what it is that systematically and fundamentally you're asking them to do from a schematic standpoint. Because you can understand it all you want, but if you can't implement it, it doesn't mean a hill of beans.
The one guy that I like, and I get a lot of opposition from certain people, Eli Ricks. I think he has a chance to be a pretty good player in this league. Look, he's very raw, but he has very good speed. He's 6'2", 188. I think this guy could be a very solid corner in years to come.
I agree too, but you want to know something? In my opinion, I don't think he's a slot corner. And that's where they're rotating him and Sidney Jones out trying to find, the right rhythm. The right rhythm is Bradley Roby when he's healthy. Neither one of those guys are slot corners. Eli Ricks is an outside corner, and Sidney Jones is a box safety.
Sidney Brown, he's a box.
Sidney
He's
Brown,
a box safety.
He's a box safety.
He's not a cover guy.
He's not a cover guy.
Okay.
No.
Why do you say that? I mean, is he not? Because he looks like he's not the fastest guy in the world, but
he probably can be.
He plays fast.
He can be a cover guy against a tight end. I'm not
Okay.
putting him against a slot receiver.
Okay.
Because those guys they're fast twitch guys, and his aggression is what gets him in trouble more than anything else. It's his aggression.
We got to take a break.
Absolutely. You're listening to the Pro
Seth, I
gotta go.
Seth's got another
Let me tell you
engagement.
something. Seth Joyner is the best, and he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Let's
and
ask
I'll
our
definitely
audience.
be there.
Yeah.
Definitely be there, my friend.
Thanks.
Thank you, Seth.
Good to see you, Bill.
All right.
Pleasure.
Thanks a lot, Seth.
You got it.
You're listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM and seen live at WBCBSports.com.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky Pete's. Come taste our unique flavors for fall with some delicious additions to our cocktail menu. Try a pumpkin white Russian with Stoli vanilla or a tasty tequila apple pie with butterscotch schnapps. Or how about a fireball apple cider sangria topped with ginger beer for game day or any day? Come see us all fall long at the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles, Chickies and Pete's.
Ventresca Limited, the Delaware Valley men's store, is located in historic Doylestown. For casual clothing in denim to business suits and tuxedos, Ventresca Limited has a large selection you have to see to believe. The experienced and knowledgeable sales staff can show you the many brand labels that have made Ventresca Limited in Doylestown a must for men concerned about their image. Select from Canali, Brax Jeans, Hickey Freeman, Johnson Murphy Footwear, and much more. Custom alterations are free. Visit Ventresca Limited on the web at ventresca.com.
Bringing in your front line is as easy as 1, 2, key. SEPTA Key Advantage is a unique and valuable transit benefit program that gives your employees all-day, everyday access to the entire SEPTA system. That means your staff can get in for their first, second, or third shifts and even travel the system on their off hours, seamlessly and affordably, all thanks to you. Learn how easy it is to customize a SEPTA Key Advantage program for your team at septa.org/partnerprograms. That's septa.org/partnerprograms.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. And here's the pitch. BCWSA water and sewer customers, you have a new and improved option to pay your bill that's convenient, reliable, and secure. Powered by Invoice Cloud, you can pay your bill 24/7 online, pay by text or phone, or sign up for autopay to avoid fees for late or missed payments. Visit bcwsa.net to sign up or for more info. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
A flawless occasion begins at the Capitol Grill. From the moment you step into the Capitol Grill, located in the heart of Center City, the experience is one of comfortable elegance. Whether you're looking to host a private affair, a perfect lunch stop, or dinner destination, start your occasion at the Capitol Grill today. Visit thecapitolgrill.com or call 215-545-9588. That's 215-545-9588 for the Capitol Grill, Center City.
Hi, it's Merrill. Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa is here to help you distress after the game. Visit them to restore, relax, or refresh with a much-needed massage or facial for an introductory price starting at just $79.95. They offer an abundance of facial and massage services. Visit any one of their 60 spas in Delaware, South Jersey, and Philadelphia, including the Lehigh Valley, or go to handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
Planning to go to the game? Give limotoday.com a call. You'll get to the game and back safely and in style. Why worry about the traffic and parking when you can relax and let LimoToday.com do the driving for you and your friends? And if you book a 5-hour trip with LimoToday.com, you'll get the 6-hour free. From sedans to minibuses to vans and stretch limos, let LimoToday.com get you to the game. Give them a call at 1-866-LIMO-TODAY. That's 1-866-LIMO-TODAY.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here's your host, Delaware County Times Birds reporter Bob Grotz, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
We are back here at Chickie and Pete's in Malvern, Pennsylvania. I'm Bill Werndl, pinch hitting for Merrill Reese. We have the esteemed writer from the local Daily Times, Bob Grotz.
Wait until Merrill finds out how much food you bought.
Absolutely.
Oh, my Lord.
And, of course, Paul Jolovitz, who I co-host the show on Friday, Jolly in the Loon. He has his own show on Mondays at the Great American Pub. So it's time now for this week's Penworth Financial Keys of the Game. The key to your financial future is Penworth Financial. Call them today at 267-997-4503 or visit penworth.com. All right, Bobby, the keys to the game this week. You're up.
Well, there's no game, like you said. The keys to the bye week, all right? For me, sleep in on Sunday.
You do that every Sunday anyway.
Wash the car, yeah. And do my laundry. That's it, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but you know what? It's going to be fun to watch the games, Billy. I mean, these are the great weeks. Really.
Also, we have to get Merle back on the road to recovery.
He'll be fine. Yeah.
You know,
he's doing better every day.
He's like Lou Gehrig and Kyle Ripken.
Oh.
He'll never miss a game. Yeah. Never. All right? You agree, Mr. Jolovitz? He'll never miss a game.
Absolutely. He was unbelievable Sunday, Billy. I mean, my wife and I, Amy, were listening to Merrill the entire game, and he gutted through it. And what more can you say? Always judge people by what they do when adversity stops by, and Merrill plowed right through it. All credit to Merrill and all the time. Yep.
He was a hurting puppy, I'll tell you that. A hurting guy.
Yep.
So, Bobby, we want to make our picks now. Is it time to make our picks?
I think we're a little bit too far out for that.
Okay.
But anyway, Billy, we were talking with Seth about, the Eagles going to self-scout. What do you think, beyond the obvious, what do you think they're going to find out about themselves when they look at that, when they self-scout? Now, I mean, and one of the obvious is that Jalen Hurts. I mean, he's the reason, in my book.
They're 8-1.
Yeah, he's the reason they're 8-1 and able to overcome all these turnovers and even though he's committed a lot of them.
Here's the deal. If they want to really be realistic, and Seth brought up a very good point, they want to get downfield a lot. They want to pass the ball. That's their MO. If they look at the tape, when they're successful, they're running the ball 40 to 45 times a game, and they're pounding the opposition defensive front. They have to just establish that running game, as Seth said, and many people, that opens it up for everybody. Every time they run the football early, they're able to put the game away in the last 4 or 5 minutes. That's the one thing I would emphasize in self-scouting.
I still think they need a healthy Jalen Hurts to be able to run the ball the way they did last year.
He's not going to be healthy for the rest of the year.
I know.
Let's be honest.
So I don't know if you're
I wouldn't. My self-scouting wouldn't be toward the offensive side of the ball. My self-scouting would be predicated toward the defensive side. Maybe taking a little more risks, changing things up like you guys were talking about earlier, because they're just allowing far too many yards and far too many scores and far too many trips into the red zone. They got to get that pass rush cranked up. They don't have a great secondary. The way you mitigate that is the pass rush. So I'm doing most of my self-scouting defensively, not offensively.
Do they have to blitz more?
I would think they probably do, yes.
Mm-hmm. Bobby?
I don't think they're equipped with the way that they cover now. I don't think that should be their MO. I mean, even a modicum of it. I think that they just need a better plan.
Give me the plan. What plan would you implement?
Play some more zone and get after the quarterback.
Yeah, but
keep it basic.
Again, the zone.
What Seth was talking about with Nick Sirianni, just don't let him beat us with a big play. Just follow that for a while and hope that some guys get healthy and get better at their technique. Sean Desai a few games ago, and it's an interesting point. I thought he had arrived as a defensive coordinator.
He blitzed a little bit. Yeah.
This past game against Dallas, actually the last 2 games, I've never seen guys get open like that. And I understand.
Wide open.
Yeah, I appreciate.
That's the big problem. Wide open.
That there were some good route runners, but who was the tight end for Dallas? 87.
Jake Ferguson out of Wisconsin.
Yep.
He was open all the time.
Yep. And, that's the other thing. I meant to ask Seth this question. I don't want to say back in the day when I was following football as a youngster, early in my career, they used to jam the tight end at the line of scrimmage. Every tight end today has a free release. Why don't you put a linebacker over the tight end and don't give him that free release? Too many times you see tight ends running through the secondary. I'm saying, how does he get that wide open? He has a free release.
I think that was a factor with Ferguson. I didn't see that happen much.
You got to jam him a little bit.
I think your theory is great, Billy, but in reality, you got to make sure you hit that jam. It's not that simple that every linebacker knows how to jam, can jam. If you miss, you got a big, big problem. So if you're going to do that, spend some time during the bye week going over fundamentals and stuff.
Absolutely, Paul.
I still say keep it basic. We got to go to our picks now. We got 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Panthers and the Bears, a riveting game on Thursday night.
Where's it at?
in Chicago.
Oh.
Who do you like?
Bears.
Bears, all right. Jolly?
Bears.
I'll take the Bears as well. They stink, and so do the Carolina Panthers.
I mean,
how about
wow. Imagine the ratings for that.
Here's another great one. Colts and the Patriots.
Where's that at?
In New England.
New England. Ooh. I'm taking the Patriots.
You're taking the Patriots. Yeah. All right, Bob? Paul?
Ditto.
I don't have a lot of faith in the Patriots, but the Colts.
I'm going to go with the Colts.
No faith in either one of these teams.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Colts. All right. Browns and the Ravens.
Oh, Ravens.
I agree.
I think they're the best team in the league right now.
Paul?
Ravens. I don't agree they're the best team in the league, but they're going to beat the Browns.
Who's better?
The Eagles, the Chiefs, the Bengals.
I think the Ravens.
Okay. The Ravens are right up there.
The Bengals are playing pretty well.
Packers and the Steelers.
Where's it at?
Pittsburgh.
Steelers.
Paul?
I'm going to agree again.
I'll agree with these guys. Steelers. Packers are a mess. 49ers and the Jaguars. That's a pretty good game.
Who's the quarterback with 49ers right now?
Brock Purdy.
Is Purdy
Brock
still
Purdy,
the quarterback?
Yeah.
And the
it's
Jaguars?
It's in Jacksonville.
I'll take the 49ers.
Love the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Love them.
I agree with Paul. I like the
pick against them every week, and I lose every week.
Here's another great game. The Giants, who have no offensive line, against the Vikings. And the Vikings really, it's a great story with Joshua Dobbs coming over in 3 days and being the starting
I'll take
quarterback.
anybody who plays the Giants.
All right, the Vikings. Paul, Vikings.
I'll subscribe to the Grotz theory on that one.
Hey, do they get the number 1 pick? Are they going to get – there's like 3 quarterbacks that are franchise guys, right?
Yeah.
In this draft? Great
I'm
draft.
not sure there's any.
Oh, no. The guy from SC? I'll take him in a second.
I'll tell you the kid that I like, the kid from LSU, Daniels. 6'5".
I like him too. Yeah.
Good-looking player.
I like the guy from Alabama too.
He's not coming out.
He's got no. Okay.
I'm not sure there's any franchise quarterbacks in this.
He throws a great deep ball.
The Texans and the Bengals. That's a good game.
Where's that at?
Cincinnati.
I'll take the Bengals.
Best team in the AFC, Cincinnati.
I'll take the Bengals as well.
They're playing really
The
well.
Lions and the Chargers. Chargers coming off a win on Monday night.
And that's where?
In Los Angeles.
Oh, I'll take Detroit.
Lions as well.
Lions ditto. All right, how about the Falcons and the Cardinals? What a great game that is.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take the Falcons.
I'll agree with my Friday partner for no real reason.
Okay, we got to do this fast. Come on, get the last one.
We have 2.
Okay.
Yeah, the Giants and the Cowboys. Everybody likes the Cowboys, right?
The Giants are playing 2 teams this week?
Yeah.
They're already playing another team.
We got to wrap it up.
All right. Real quick. The Commanders, Seahawks.
Commanders.
Seahawks.
And finally, Jets and Raiders.
Oh, Raiders.
Antonio
Pierce. Oh.
Yeah.
And Broncos and the Bills. We like the Bills, right?
Yeah. No, I like the Broncos.
You like the Broncos?
I like the Bills.
I think the Bills are going south very quickly.
I like the Bills.
Right. Okay. All right.
That's it.
We got to put a bow on this show right now.
Yeah.
Great job by our
Merrill.
producer extraordinaire, Chris Ermer. He does a bang-up job producing and directing this show. Want to thank Paul Jolovitz for jumping in after Seth Joyner left. Bobby Grotz, great job. So we got to say goodbye from Chicky and Pete's here in Malvern. You've been listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM and seen live at WBCBsports.com. Have a good week.
You're listening to 1490 WBCB, Levittown, Fairless Hills, Trenton, and now heard as well on FM at 107.3 FM, W297CL, Levittown.